Good evening. Focus Daily TV, we back. Today we will be discussing Andrew Piatt, Abram Piatt Andrew, another member that was involved in the changing of the money, another precipitant, another person that was at the Jekyll meeting. We're going to get straight into it, but while I got you here, hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel. Let's go. Another Focus Daily show.
Did you know that one of John Hayes Hammond Jr.'s closest friends at one time was former Massachusetts Congressman A. Piatt Andrew? Abram Piatt Andrew Jr. was born in Indiana in 1873. After graduating from Princeton in 1893, he furthered his education at Harvard until 1898.
Princeton, Harvard, those are some of the main locations of what's known as the Skull and Bones. I call them privateers, pirates. But most definitely this guy Andrew was a member of that group, which was why he was a participant at said Jekyll meeting. All right, let's discuss more about it.
Then went on to study at the universities of Halle, Berlin, and Paris. He later moved to Gloucester, Massachusetts, returning to Harvard to teach economics, which led to him editing publications of the National Monetary Commission, being appointed director of the Mint in 1909, followed by Assistant Secretary of the Treasury from 1910 to 1912 during the...
So not only was he a member of the Mint, he also was a member of the Treasury, which brings it all together as far as the changing of the money is concerned and bringing in this new beast system of fiat currency, registration, and reclassification. This Andrew guy played a major role
in the presidency of William Howard Taft, a good friend of John Hayes Hammond Sr. Following these accomplishments, Andrew traveled to France to serve in World War I with both the French and American armies. He spearheaded the establishment of the American Ambulance Field Service, later renamed simply to the American Field Service,
which was closely related to the Red Cross. Previously, I mentioned that there's tons of information on the Red Cross, but at this moment, we're going to stick to what occurred on Jekyll Island. We're going to stick to the money changers. We're going to stick to the law. And mainly, what we're sticking to is the Word of God, the Bible. Everything that I'm presenting is within this Word of God, is within the law that the Bible brings. I'm just here to kind of help decode the information that is within the mystery that is within the Bible. That's what God sent me to do, just to bring an introduction to this truth, and He will handle the rest.
An organization that sought to assist wounded soldiers on the Western Front, even in combat zones, which foreigners had previously been forbidden to do per French Army policy. Andrew was motivated by heroic ideals, desiring to share the fate of the French in their struggle against...
See, this is mainly about introducing these characters, these evil characters, within this Jekyll movement, so that people can become familiar and identify those who were involved. All of this occurred around 1910. Shortly after 1913, things began to come out like the Federal Reserve Act, the Gold Act, where they begin to take the gold from people, and registration and birth certificates, as I speak of so often. We're gonna go back and watch a previous video that I showed where the guy, he was explaining it all and breaking it all down. But it's important that these characters be introduced. So just hang in there. And while I got you here paying attention, hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel. Hashtag Focus Daily TV. We're working on the Patreon. It should soon be available as soon as people begin to arrive in class.
Germany and its allies in the war. In this effort, American Model T ambulances were donated to assist French, British, and Belgian forces. Andrew rose to the rank of lieutenant colonel by the end of the war, received numerous awards, and throughout was assisted by his friends Leslie Buswell, who served in the AFS and wrote an account of the horrors he witnessed in the trenches, as well as Henry Davis Sleeper, who helped raise funds in the United States. Hammond himself donated a car to the war effort and was
Also, go check out my other channel, Focus Daily Show. On that channel, I go into a more in-depth analysis of things that occurred in history, breaking down historical events and revealing the truth of those events, but once again at an introductory level only. The Bible speaks of study to show thyself approved. So when I introduce this, if it moves you, go and research the information that I'm giving. It's not hard to realize the truth that comes up out of that, especially if you have God on your heart and your mind.
recognized by a certificate for his contribution, which can be seen today in Hammond Castle Museum. Andrew was a member of BASH, an informal social group formed by himself, Buswell, Sleeper, and Hammond, the name being an acronym derived from their surnames.
Another one of those privateer groups, those Confederate groups.
All four men built fabulous homes in Gloucester, with Andrew's home known as Red Roof. Andrew was later elected as a Republican to the 67th Congress.
Another one of those groups that conspired against God's children, the Afro-Americans. I prefer to say Afro than African, because that whole African story is a myth. No, we did not come from Africa to here. We were already here. What they basically trying to do is send us to Africa so they can continue to disenfranchise us and flourish from the land that is rightfully ours, given to us by God himself, his children.
Representing Massachusetts' 6th District. He served from September 27, 1921, until his death on June 3, 1936. His remains were cremated and spread via airplane over his estate at Eastern.
Now, they completed their mission around 1933, and if you do decide to check out this information, you'll notice how all these people started disappearing right after 1933 when they completed this Piatt B system that we live in today. But more on that later.
Eastern Point in Gloucester. Today, the bridge connecting Route 128 over the Annisquam River to Gloucester is named the A. Piatt Andrew Bridge in his honor. We hope you enjoyed this video.
You got bridges and everything. Huh? Well, here on the Focus Daily Show, Focus Daily TV, we try to keep it simple and sweet. So that's enough for today. See you tomorrow for another episode. But before you go, hit that like button, subscribe, support the channel. Hashtag Focus Daily TV. We out.